Hey, hi Gopal, good morning.
Hi Kiran, good morning. Hello, who would you join? Lavanya, it's you? Okay. So, good morning, both of you, and we will start our session. I'm going to share my screen. You both able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday what we discussed, we were discussing the organization structure, and we did the setup till business group and legal entity. And in between, we did some setups related to profile options. Profile options required at the mostly we discussed that how to standardize the profile option setups because it configured from the site level to more granular level, user level. So till legal entity, we have completed the setup. Okay. So Lavanya, yesterday you asked me that navigation part, which you finding it difficult. Okay. So now what happens when you log in over this screen? You have the responsibilities already assigned. Okay, this is completely based on the responsibilities. When you do any configurations, you need to go and do in a particular responsibility, and there are some specific items which need to be done in that responsibility, like we have done the business group setup, location setup. All this is available in the this business group, legal entity setup, and location setup. All this we have done in the either HRMS or inventory responsibility, or general ledger responsibility, or legal entity configurator. Okay, so in each responsibility we have taken the access for the setup, because when you do the setting for the responsibilities, let me show this one. Responsibilities. Okay. When we do set up the responsibility, okay, this is the setup of one general ledger responsibility. Okay. When you do the setup of responsibility, this is the menu. Okay. This is the standard menu where all the functions are available. This is supplied by Oracle. Okay. You can very well customize this menu and exclude and include certain functions as per your need. So is this standard menu is consisting of setup related functions also. So when you log in, let's say you want a general ledger super user. Okay, general ledger super user. You have all these menu. Under setup menu, you have setups related to different items like financials, accounts, journal, currencies, tax, employees, systems, others. Okay. So inside each submenus, you have different submenus, flex fields, calendars, accounting setup, and all this sequences, definition access set, and everything. So likewise, you have to remember certain things that if you want to configure any setup, you need to go into the setup responsibility first, setup related functions. If you have that responsibility, then you will be navigating into the setup related functions. Like we yesterday did the business group setup. So that business group setup is in the inventory module or HRMS module, and inside the one setup is there. Under the setup, there is a means you need to remember few navigations. It is in the very with the very first time, it will be little difficult to follow the sequence of the navigation, but you need to remember under which responsibility and what all the activities you need to complete in the sequence. Like you should not go to legal entity configurations uh, if you are not completed with the location setup. Business group, yesterday I told you that that is an optional setup. If you are not using the HRMS module, you can very well skip that business group setup. But it is recommended to use the business group setup, because tomorrow if you are going to use the HRMS module or any of these small employee related functions, then it is really required that you must have the business group. Okay, so just follow the sequence of the activities, what all you have to do, and remember that you must go to the setup functions. Okay, after going to the setup functions, you will be remembering what all the functions you need to access, and then proceed further. So yesterday we completed business group and legal entity setup for India. Okay, we are doing setup in India. Now, yesterday we started discussing the ledger. Okay, chart of accounts, current calendar, currency, accounting conversion. These are the four things which together complete our ledger setups. These are called 4 C's. Okay, chart of account, calendar, currency, accounting convention. Then we have multiple ledgers, primary ledger, secondary ledger. Primary ledger representing main accounting means a main representation of your accounting activities, means organization's accounting activities. This is the main ledger where you will have everything in your currency. Currency designated means if the entity is operating in India, it is Indian currency. And if you want to report your figures to a company which is not in your Indian geography, okay, then you need a secondary ledger representation. If you are going to use a different chart of account, then also you can use the secondary ledger representation. If you are following a separate calendar, means most of the countries follow Jan to December as a calendar, but in India it is April to March. So that is also very well possible, even though you can get the details and figures by what we sorry. Even though you can very well get those details month by month, And with the help of the trial balance, you can very well prepare the all your details. But as you know that India follows April to March, means your all the closing of books will happen on March 31st. So it should not be like your once you complete the December month, it passed the closing entries. It happens in the primary ledger, but not in the secondary ledger. So these are the things which can be managed with the secondary ledger. Then, if just the currency is getting different, you can very well use the reporting currency feature. Okay, it will create a reporting ledger. In the reporting currency ledger, you will be getting your balances converted into a different currency other than your local currency. So we have, we will see all these features together in our GL session when we start this. Okay. So now our activity is related to ledger setup. Before we move on to ledger setup, there is a requirement of setting of, uh, okay, setting all these four C's. So our first activity is related to currency. Okay, no need to create any currency in the system because Oracle is following a standard ISO standards currency code. So all ISO standard currency available in system. So nothing to be created except when there is certain conditions, country go for a change in the currency. Okay, like there is a country in South America, the currency is the for a country Venezuela. Okay, the currency was VEF. Okay, in 2015. After that, in 2018, they changed the currency to VES. Okay. Because Venezuela is in under hyperinflationary conditions. So, if you Google it, you will come to know that $1 will be the means you can say it will be the huge amount of local currency. So that is this. So they converted the VEF to VES in 2018. Now again they are going for the change in 2021, and the currency code will be I do not remember, but they are going for this change again. For and why they are going for such change? Because they are in the hyperinflationary condition, so they going to do some what we say currency devaluation. When you do currency devaluation means in terms of your USD currency, you are going to quote higher amount of local currency. So that in that condition, this let's say in 2018 VES they converted. So this currency is not at all available in the system because you say you took the system already from the product owner, that is Oracle. So you have to create this currency VES. Understood? So why you no need to create the currency? If you want to USD, USD is already there in the list. If you want to use the VF, VF is also there in the list. But if it is VES, you need to create it. Suppose INR is there. Tomorrow, India government is going and changing it to, let's say, uh, INR to some other currency. Then that code you need to add it into currencies in the GL module. So let's navigate on the system. Okay, once you log in over here, okay, currency, as we are doing the accounting related setups, the first and very first setups will be done in the general ledger module. Okay, once you start completing the setups in general ledger module, you can very well start using the accounts payable and accounts receivable module with some basic setups. Okay, module specific setups are different and global setups are different. Okay, so currency is the global setup because that you need to use in other modules also. Okay, accounts payable related setups are related to accounts payable only, not for any other module. So likewise, we are doing some global setups, then we will move to module specific setups. General ledger, super user, IT India. Then we have the setup, and then we have the currencies. Under the currency, you can define an exchange rate related details. So define. Okay. This is the field where you can define the currency when you click on the define. Okay, now you navigated from the this login page. From this page, you came to this Java form page, and now we will see what all the currencies available. So just simply press Control F11. It will bring all the currencies available. So you can see here, some people are creating their own currency codes. Okay, but it is really not required. It is because if you see, currencies are already there. See, AED, UAE dirham, AFA, Afghani, AFN, Afghani, and all ALL, leak, Armenian dram. So likewise, all the ISO standard currency codes are already available. So you no need to go for any currency code creation. Okay, if you want to search for your currency INR, just press F11, code INR, press Control F11. Indian rupee, it is still very well available. The rupee symbol is changed. You can very well change this rupee symbol to new rupee symbol, and you can very well proceed to next. Okay, so this is related to currency. Now you are in this page. Okay, what you have seen on the main login page in the Java form, once you close all the forms, you will be available with this Java form screen, where you have the responsibility mentioning over here, under which responsibility you are now in, and all this menus, submenus function. You can very well go to setup over here, then currencies. Okay. define. Just now we have seen the rates. Okay, first you have to define the rate types. Okay, under rate types, what we do, like in some countries, it is mandatory to use the exchange rate provided by the central bank of that country. Okay, you can very well use the exchange rate provided by the Reuters, Bloomberg, or some of the for leading financial Reuters and Wanda rates and something like this. But if you need to follow some different rates, okay, this all is they have you need to create. It is no standard. You have to create your own exchange rate type. Okay. Few of the exchange rates types are available. Period average 162. These all are coming with the system. Okay. But if you want, you can very well create your exchange rate type, and that exchange rate will be used. So you are, let's say, for our IT company India US dollar, you are going to follow, let's say, Reuters rate or Oanda exchange rate and something like this. Then you must define the exchange rate type here. After defining exchange rate type, you have to enter the daily currency rates for each pair of your currency. Means USD to INR, INR to USD, Euro to Euro to INR, and all these exchange rates you have to define on daily rates. Okay, this is historical. Okay, historical currencies you can very well add for a period and all these details. Uh, as you can see, we able to see the ledger also. Though we have not defined any ledger, we are just in the starting phase of the ledger definition. We still see a ledger is assigned to our responsibility. It is nothing but it is coming from your profile option, ledger name. Okay, we still not completed the ledger setup, and it is defined at the site level, that is the global level. Responsibility level we have not defined anything, and that's the reason it is picking the value from the site level. So what we'll do, we come back again on this GL module when we will be using the foreign currency journals, and this is what related to the currency. Next, you can you have to go to what calendar. Okay, why calendar is needed? Okay, as you know that we have to follow certain calendar for booking our accounting activities. So it is required that you follow a calendar setup, from which period to which period this calendar will work, and uh, what all the details, what all the period details you are going to add, and if any adjustment you want to do, how you will perform these adjustment quarterly, half yearly, then annually. Okay, so we will see calendar setup, and it is required mandatory step to be completed for our implementation. So uh, let's say we will define IT Corporation calendar. Okay, we are going to define this calendar. So close the currency. Now that is the also a global setup, financials, then calendar. Okay, first you have to define the type, and then you have to define the accounting calendar, transaction calendar. So what happens? Why we need two different types of calendar? A transaction calendar is the calendar which you will be used during the transactions. Okay, suppose you are put there is a holiday, and that holiday is to be considered while your transactions to be taken place. Suppose on a Gandhi Jayanti, you will not be doing any business on that day, so that you can very well manage on the transactions calendar. But most of the companies, okay, except manufacturing company and some financial industries, companies in banking sector, insurance sector, most of the companies follow just accounting calendar, not the transaction calendar. Transaction calendar is required, but most of the manufacturing countries, manufacturing companies are using this, and the companies which is required to follow some legal rules and regulations, and which requires holidays to be considered while doing the transactions. So we have the calendar types. So first we have to define the calendar type. Okay. There is a lot of calendars available. Okay. Here we have monthly also available. Monthly with 13 periods per year, and it is type as calendar and fiscal. Okay, what is calendar and what is fiscal calendar? Calendar means it is Jan to December period. Monthly 13 period, Jan to December period. If you select fiscal, then you need to specify from which month to which month this will be the period. So in our case, it is India, it is fiscal calendar. Okay, April to March. But we are going to follow the global practice of Jan to December as a standard primary ledger related calendar, and we will have a separate calendar for fiscal representation. Okay, so we have already periods type is defined. For calendar, period types is already available, lots of available. Even you can define your own if you want. Let's say IT corporation monthly with 14 periods or with 16 periods. Why I am telling you this 14 or 16 period in a year, though there is 12 periods? So there is a think that even though you have 12 periods throughout the year, that in terms of month, there is let's say some periods you need to make available, that is called adjustment period, and that adjustment period is to perform some adjustment activities like year end. Okay, once the year is getting end, you have to perform certain adjustment. Okay, you are going to close the December period. After that, you are going to perform the management adjustments. Management will decide some accounting entries to be passed to give effect to certain adjustment in your balance sheet items, profit loss items. Then you have auditors also who is going to suggest some corrections after performing the audit activities. That is audit adjustment that you also have to perform during the year end. So likewise, we have normal period where you will perform day-to-day transactions and accounting, but there is some adjustment period will be also available, which will be used for performing adjustment activities. So monthly is available. Even you can see here weekly calendar also available. So you will say, why weekly? Who is following weekly? Okay. A weekly calendar is also being followed by some companies who close their activities by every week. They do not follow the accounting every month to month, but they follow the accounting week to week. Okay, so today is Saturday, so the company will be doing the closing activities today or tomorrow and starting the fresh week from Monday itself. So there are companies who are using weekly calendar, like Apple. Apple Inc. in US is following the weekly calendar, not the monthly or not the any other period. So this is very well is possible that people following this period types. So we are just going to use simply the monthly to avoid any confusion. Okay, type is already available. Now we are going to define our accounting calendar. So here, calendar name. We decided IT Corporation calendar. Monthly. In the description, you can very well say Corporation monthly calendar. Okay. Though it is a optional field. Yellow field is always mandatory. Description in the white field, that is just just for normal description purpose, optional field. Okay. Now you have to define the period. Okay. You have to save this first and then come to the period definition. Okay. How you want it to be prefix. Let's say I'm going to add Jan. Type is monthly. Monthly. Year starting with the 2021. It is related to which quarter? If you mention it is first quarter. Number of days, 31 days. Okay, period number. Period number is 1. Okay, like you have to define all the periods from whatever year till whatever year you want. Okay, it is quarter 1, period number 1. If we are defining it as a fiscal period, and you have, let's say, what like in our India, April to March. Then if it is a fiscal calendar, January will be the quarter 4 and period number 10. Okay, you understood both? That I am going to follow the Jan to December right now for our simplicity purpose, to go through all the modules and specific activities. It is very well possible that you can use the fiscal calendar from starting from April to March and define the periods over here. So now it is 31st Jan 2021. So when you will be performing activities, your period name will be showing like this, Jan 21. Okay. There is a column called adjusting. If you enable this checkbox, it means that you are going to perform adjustment activity only in that calendar period. So if you click this, that is a adjusting period. Likewise, Feb, monthly. So likewise, monthly, we have many things. 2021, quarter number 1, period number 2, Feb 2021 to 28 Feb 2021. Then you have March. Okay, to copy the data from this cell to next cell, press Shift F5. Okay, it will copy the data of the previous cell to your next cell. So this 2021, 1, period number 3, 2021. April. Let's see. 2021. Quarter number 2, period number 4.
So if we use fiscal year, a year will change, it will be same.
Yes, year will change. Suppose you are defining the fiscal period. So you will be defining from the April to March. So April will be your first period, first quarter. And when you are defining the Jan, Feb, March, you will be mentioning 2022 and quarter number 4, period number 10. So you are defining, you are following the monthly pattern. Okay. That fiscal calendar also I will show you when we do the setup related to secondary ledger, where we are going to use the fiscal year as a calendar. Okay.
Okay.
Part 2, period number 5. monthly. Six. Quarter number 3, period number 7. Now you see the difference. I put ADJ as an adjusting period. It will be part of quarter 4. It will be period number 13, and the date will be the okay. Why? And I enable this adjusting. So why I given the 31st December as a date? Because you already closed your book for the December period. Okay. Now, any adjusting journal entries you have to pass. You must pass on the 31st of December, not any other date. And that's the reason I have to assign a adjusting period with the date as 31st December to 31st December. So this is it. Save your setup. Once you save it, this is done. And you keep on adding the future periods if you want. Most of the companies, what they do, uh, they complete this setup for let's say for 4 to 5 years altogether and one shot. So there will be no maintenance activity related to calendar. So this our calendar setup is done. Now, when you close this window, it is asking, do you want to validate the currently displayed calendar or all calendar? I just want a validation on the current calendar. It will submit a calendar validation request. Click OK. So our accounting calendar setup is done. Accounting calendar setup is done. Now next is the chart of account structure. Okay, chart of account. What do you mean by chart of account? Chart of account is nothing but your list of account you are going to use for accounting purpose. So chart of account is the combination you have to build for each and every account. That means you will have various segments in the chart of account structure. So in the structure we build uh, as this is this is an ERP system. It is not revolving around just the account segment, but it takes into function takes into account for other details also. So let's say you are going to build the structure of your account as company, location, function, nature, or maybe sub account. Let's say account, sub account, product, project. Let's say this future one, future two. Okay. You are going to define your accounting structure. Okay. So this all together will build a combination of account. Okay. So you will have the company. Suppose in India, you have multiple companies. Right now, we are dealing with the IT Private Limited. But let's say you have IT Software Private Limited, another company. Yeah, right now, another company you have IT Hardware Limited, Private Limited is another company. You have multiple companies in India. You have multiple locations you are operating these companies. Let's say Chennai is the one location. You are operating one company, IT Private Limited, but you also operating one business from Hyderabad. So location will also help in this identification. Then function is nothing but your departments. You want to understand the which department has done which expenses. Okay, so to understand that, you are going to use the function as a accounting segment. So these all call as segment and all together confirmed as a combination. Okay, we have intercompany IC. Okay, and I'm just explaining this, but I will be using very less numbers of these segments to simplify our training. But most of the companies, what they want to track balances at each company. So each company will have their own trial balance. Trial balance will be generated for at company level. It is not generated at the, what we say, at the function level or any other level, because your debit must equals to your credit. This is the very basic accounting principle. Your debit must be equals to credit. So this will happen only and only in case where your segment is classified as a balancing segment. Okay, there is a concept called balancing segment. Balancing segment means, just in a simple language, where debit equals to credit. Okay. So this item, this classification will be assigned to company. Okay. Then we have the another classification called as natural account. This classification is assigned to account function, account segment. Then you have another classification, cost center. Cost center, either this can be assigned as into the function, or any of this segment like project, product, sub account, or maybe location, but only can be assigned to the one. So I am assigning it to the function or department. So cost center. There is another segment called intercompany. This classification will be assigned to intercompany segment. Okay. Then we have secondary reporting. This can be assigned to any of this segment which is left. Okay, you cannot assign this secondary reporting segment to company again or something like this. Secondary reporting segment, you can very well define it to a project level, or location level. Okay, so mostly let's say we are defining it as a location level. Next is the management. Management segment. Management segment to identify the responsibilities related to managing of a particular area, or the product line, business line. So it can be assigned to the product level. Okay. Likewise, we have, these are the segment classification. So a balancing segment where debit equals to credit, natural account for accounts, cost center, intercompany, secondary reporting, management. Like this, we have many segments, and that segments will be assigned as a following classification. For the simplicity of our thing, we are going to use company, location, function, account, sub account, then intercompany, future one as a another two segments. Okay, why we have the future one, future two? Okay, what will happen? You decide something today. may not be relevant tomorrow, after 2 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Okay, at the time you need some additional details to be tracked on your account level. Okay, suppose I am not using product now, but tomorrow I want to use the product. So I have not defined product or project in my chart of account structure. So I cannot change in between my chart of account structure, because it's a change once the chart of account is in use, you cannot change the structure. So it is very well required you define this. These are the global setup and these are the basic setups. This all you need to means as a functional consultant, when you talk to your client and everyone talk to your client and you discuss these things before itself defining into the system. So how they want their chart of account, what all the reporting they want on your chart of account level, what they want kind of reporting they want from the management. Suppose there is a uh, you want to track profit and loss at the department level also. Okay, uh, but that is not possible. You want a trial balance by department also, that is not possible, because company is already you assigned as a balancing segment. If you want a trial balance by department, you need to assign the balancing segment classification to function also. Okay, you understanding? So this is quite difficult. So to comply with this requirement of the your client is saying, I have two plants. Okay, I have one company but two plants. Okay, one company, two plant locations. Okay, this very well can be done using plant as a segment over here. Okay, in this I use one segment called as, let's say in the project I say plant. Okay, I define a plant as a segment my chart of account, and I can very well draw reports based on the plant. So this plant will have expenses, this plant will have the revenues also. Likewise, I have let's say three companies, company number 1, 2, 3. Okay, these all three companies dealing with three different plants. Plant number 1, plant number, okay, company 1, company 3. Now they are dealing with the plants, different plants. So plant 1, plant 2, and plant 3. Now what your client is saying, I want my trial balance to be drawn by plant. Okay, my trial balance must be there plant wise, so I can very well prepare the profit and loss and balance it by plant. But you see here, I have already company, the legal entity. The legal entities already having the balancing segments defined as C1, C2, C3. Okay, balancing segment you can define to any of your chart of account segment. It is not required that you must define the balancing segment to a company code. You can very well define it to the location, and you will very well define it to the plant. There is no hard and fast rule, but you need to understand this things like, sorry, you need to understand this, that uh, based on the client requirement. Client is saying he want the reporting by plant, but in this case it is not possible because company has a different segment as a balancing segment. So what you can do, you can club this C1 P1 C2 P2 P3 P3. Likewise, you are going to define your uh, first segment. That is, let's say I am defining this as a company, as a value. So what will happen? Now I have no need to use the plant as a segment because my plant is incorporated over here. And I can very well draw my trial balance based on any of this segment value. So this is like when you do customers requirement gathering, and the very basic and the very first step, you have to understand the reporting requirement of your client, and then you go for such definitions. So in our case, we are just going to simply use company, location, function, account, sub account, intercompany, and future one. So let's move on to defining all this in the setup. So these all setups are basic setups for defining the ledger. Ledger is the item used in the general ledger module. In the general ledger module, you are defining all these global and basic setups. So you have setups, financials, flex fields. Okay, we have flex fields. Okay, we have two types of flex fields: key and descriptive. Key flex fields are defining the capturing the values and defining some key characteristics of that value. Okay, so flex fields, and under flex fields we have the key. Under key we have the segment value, alias, rules, grouping, security, accounts. So first thing is we have to define the segment. Okay. This field will open. Now our task is to define the chart of account structure. We are defining over here is the structure. So press F11. In the application you mention general ledger, and flex field title is accounting. Press Ctrl F11. So these are the chart of structures already defined. I'm not saying that this you need to use. I'm going to create my own structure. I will say IT Corporation COA. Title also the same. Description also the same. Okay. Now here you have to save this. You saved it. IT Corporation Chart of Accounts. Okay. This is in enabled status. Okay. All this we will understand before we now go to segments. Inside there we have to define the segment. One, company. Window prompt is company. Column, segment 1. Okay. Now it is asking us the value set. Value set will hold the values for this segment. Okay. So we need to define the value set over here. So click on value set. This creation window will open. IT Corporation Company. Okay. It will, you can provide the description. What will be the type? Okay. Either it will be list of value, long list of value, pop-up list. So most of the time it is list of values. Security type we will discuss later. This one. Format. It is which format it is. Characters, date, date time, number, standard date, date and time, time. So most of the time character. How you want to define it? Maximum size. Let's say 2 characters I am going to define. Okay. I'm not selecting anything over here. If I am not selecting over here anything, it means I'm going to use uppercase, lowercase, number, and right justified, and zero fill numbers. Okay, so I can use anything. Validation type independent. So once you complete this, save it. Control C. In the value set, you paste it. When you go to the next, it is displayed, it is enabled. Now click OK. This is just a message, person message. Location. Segment number 2. Again, you have to define the value set. Just a value, no security characters. What will be the maximum value? Let's say I'm going to use 3 characters. For Chennai, I will use CHN. Or Bengaluru, I will use BGN. Something like this. Or you can use any other values also, like 001 will be the Chennai, 002 will be the Bangalore, something like this. Independent. Save this. Copy this. Get the prompt message. Location. Now we have the function. Segment 3. Define the value set. What will be the maximum character size for this? Like for finance, I will say FIN. For admin, I will say ADM. And facilities, I will say FAC. Manufacturing, I will say MFG. Purchasing and procurement, I will say PRO. Sales and marketing, SNM. And I will define like this. And if you can very well define with the numbers, 001 will be your manufacturing, 002 will be your procurement, 003 sales and marketing, 004 finance, and go on. So you can very well define with 3 characters. Then comes the 4th segment. Segment 4. Okay, in case of segment 4, you can very well define the value set and its name, the value set name also. But right now, what I am going to do is I need to define lot of values for this segment, account segment. And that's the reason what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an existing value set. I have already one setup available. Chart of account structure. India accounts. This is the value set name. Stamping language India account. Okay, because I need to define the values. So to avoid that, I'm using the existing one. Fourth open, fifth. Okay, I'm not going to use the sub account also. But this is getting more data related. Account one. Then I will just add intercompany one and future segment one. Intercompany. Okay. If for intercompany, you can very well use company value set because company will have transaction with another company. So that is the value will come in the intercompany, and how the intercompany works we will see in the GL module 25. Intercompany one, future one. In the future one, segment 6, and I will define maximum size, let's say 4. I say and this is my chart of account structure is decided. This is the way I'm going to track my details. Okay. You cannot modify this after you started using your application. You have posted even one journal entry. It will not allow you to change over here. You cannot add any segment. You cannot delete any segments. So it is to be planned very well so that there will be no much major maintenance activity. Okay. Now it's time to decide the flex field qualifiers. Company, click on flex field qualifiers. It is company always balancing segment, and the balancing segment can be your department can be a balancing line of business can be a balancing segment. This is depends on business to business and requirement to requirement. Okay, right now in our case it is balancing segment. Enable it. And then we have the function. Function, we are going to define it as a cost center. Account, we have natural account. Flex field qualifiers as a natural account segment. Okay, these first three is mandatory to be defined. Others you can very well skip, that is optional. IC, intercompany, flex field qualifier, intercompany segment. Okay. If you want some management reporting also, you can very well do it at the location level. So we have decided our flex fields. I will just check the value for this. Okay. We are using the correct India account. Because I had to define all these values, that's the reason I used the existing account segment. So right now what happened? My structure is ready. My structure is ready. So I am going to use the company. Now I need values for company. Under the company, I am defining C1, C2. Location. Okay, right now we have just the legal entity defined as the legal entity right now set up as the IT private limited. So this is just one legal entity. So I can very well skip C2. We will see C2 when we do the intercompany transactions. Location, CHN, Chennai. Okay. And then function. Under the function, I will use finance, HR, admin, facility, uh, purchasing, S&M, sales and marketing, or sales. And IT. Select this only few departments just to show how it works. Then I have to define function gone. Account, we already using existing value set, so it is not an issue. Account gone. In the intercompany, we are already using the company segment, so C1 will come. Not C1 will come. We will be defining the default values for each segment. So most of the time it is 00, 00, C1. The same will get copy pasted here. Like this, I need to find values. Are using all this. So let's go to our system. We are under the correct navigation. Same responsibility, set of finances, factors, key, values. Now we are going to define values. Select the value set. In the name, you give name you decided for the value set. IT underscore CO, company. What the value I want to define here? 00. Description, default. It is enabled and just like this. Qualifier, allow budgeting allow posting. We will see this all in our next GL session. Now see one company one. Now you decide by IT private limited. This is our legal entity we defined. Allow budgeting, allow posting, yes. Save it. Done. We have defined the IT company. Click on this name, click on this torch button again. Remove company. Now select the next one, function. Click on find. Define new. Okay, function also I need to define default values. Okay. Default value. ADM administration. Next is the sales. Then we have purchasing. Then we have HR. We have the finance. IT. I defined my values for this value set. So now you understand. I am defining the segment. In the chart of account, I am defining the segment. That segment is characteristic, means taking all the characteristics defined in the value set. Under the value set, we are defining the values for that particular segment. And it is called function. Now next will be the future one. Future one, you have to define some default value, though you are not using anything. Default. We will see how to use the future segment when suppose tomorrow some changes you want. Click OK. Yes. We saved it. Now next is last one. It is location. In the location also, you define the default value. Sometimes what happens you need to provide some values which are not related to location. It is some activities you are defining it at the default level. So it's the same type. You will have three values as a default. And you will have CHN, Chennai. We defined the values for the value set. You have seen here qualifiers. Okay, segment qualifier means it here whatever you say yes or no, it will work based on. If I say posting not allowed, then it will not allow me to use that segment in any of my journal entry, and that's the reason allow posting, allow budgeting we have enabled yes. If I want to do the budgeting for a location, let's say Chennai location, I can very well do that. Some accounts you do not use the location. Okay, so in that case also I want to use the default value, and default value if I say no, then it will not be feasible to use that. That's the reason allow budgeting posting yes. Okay, now we see what all the segment here value qualifiers will be available for the account segment. If you see qualifiers, you can see here allow budgeting, posting, account type, third party control, reconcile. As it is a parent value, okay, you see here parent segment is checked. If you see define child, nothing, no values is defined. You can very well define by yourself. Okay, so let's say this is the cash account. Allow posting, allow budgeting, yes. Account type, it is assets, liability, or revenue expenses, or ownership equity. Okay. So what is the type of account it is related to? So the Kiran, for you, the main reason for joining this training is for understanding the accounting. So just to give you a brief overview, in the accounting, you have these classifications of the account: assets, expenses, liability, ownership or equity, or shareholders, stockholders equity, and revenue. By the name only, you can understand assets means all your belongings of your organizations, as well as your organization's claim on others. Let's say you have to receive some money from your customers. You have paid advances to your suppliers. You have paid expenses in very advance, that is prepaid expenses. And you are having assets, that is furniture, fixtures, fittings, motor vehicles, etc., etc. All these are your assets. And the next is the expenses. Expense means your all expenses. So whatever expense you are incurring to performing your business. There are some direct expenses, there is some indirect expenses. Direct expenses like purchasing. Okay, you purchase item that goes in the expense account. When you expense employee related expenses, that is going into the expense account. When you are having the expenses related to administration, like cleanliness and maintenance of your office, and maintenance of the office equipment, that is expenses. Liabilities. Liability means claim of others, outsiders on your organization. So here we have the loans. If we have taken any bank loan, that is the bank can claim from us. So that's a liability for us, liability. Even you have suppliers to whom you have to pay for the bills they have sent. So that is also coming under the liabilities. Taxes you have to pay to the governments, that is come under the liability. Then next is the ownership or stockholders equity. Ownership or stockholders equity means what all the claims the founders or the stockholders of the companies are claiming on the company. Your share capital. It means that when you going to start the company, who all the members put their money from their savings, from their pocket to your company to start your company. These people are called owners and stockholders equity. Even bank can put money in your company and they will be becoming stockholders. So likewise, these are the stockholders. Even whatever profit you generate after doing all the expenses and whatever loss you generate after doing all the expenses is owner's equity. That is the that value which go to owner's equity. Then revenue. Revenue means your all incomes, all the sales activity, what you are doing, all the incomes are like you are earning some interest on your bank deposits, etc., etc. So these are the account types. Third party control. If that account you enable the third party control, it means that you cannot post a manual journal entry to that third party control account. Understood? If it is you enabling the third party control, okay. If it is just customer related account, you cannot post a manual journal. It must come from the accounts receivable module. If you say restrict manual journals, means it will not allow on that account manual journal entry. You must use the subledgers or the Excel function to post the journals. If it is a supplier related account, you very well select the supplier. It is a supplier account and it must come from the accounts payable module. If it is a third party control, if you select yes, means it is treated as any third party. It can be a customer, it can be a supplier, or manual journal entries are not allowed in that. So like this it will work. Then reconciliation. Reconcile the accounts. It means that you have all the values coming from the subledgers. Okay, then you have this reconciliation feature enabled to clear the accounting entries in the books when you have debit equals to credit for a particular transaction, particular event. Suppose you received an invoice number 1 from a supplier ABC, and you have done the payment also to that invoice to ABC. Means debit is also there and credit is also there. Okay, so it means that your supplier liability is now 0 because you received the invoice and you paid the money to the supplier. It means debit and credit is 0. This supplier activities to be make it null or make it 0. And when you go carry forward your balances to the next year, these line items will not be there. These line items will not be there means when you generate the report from it will just show the values which are unreconciled. Reconciled value it will not show. We will see this feature also how it works. Right now it is no for all the accounts. So this is related to chart of account structure. We have done the chart of account structure setup also. I must say here a future. So these are the values for my account. Okay, now let's move on to the our in the ledger what we have the last one. In the last lecture, we have the accounting convention. Accounting convention means how your accounting will happen for each transactions and accounting events. Right now, we are going to use the standard accounting convention, which is supplied by Oracle in the system itself. So we are not going to change it. And What is the accounting convention here? We have some countries like let's say China, Japan, they have strict guidelines for accounting, and we have separate accounting convention to be used in China and Japan. Likewise, we can use our own customized accounting convention in our company. That is termed as SLA, subledger accounting method. So in this accounting convention, we can very well modify the details, and we can very well use any number of data which need to be populated on your journal entries. So right now we are going to use the very basic standard Oracle convention. We are not going to change it. So for ledger, we have everything is now ready. There is nothing to be worried. So now let's proceed for defining the ledger. Close this window. It is going to compile the value set. Okay. So to define our ledger, we must go to setup. Under the setup, accounting setup manager, then accounting setups. It will open the page, HTML page. Okay. So you see two tabs, accounting setup and legal entity. Legal entity, we have already done the setup, so we no need to worry. Now, next move is to create the accounting setup. Click over here. When you click on the legal entity is already done. So you can very well assign your legal entity over here. You have the add one row here, and you can give your IT private limited. Okay, you see here IT private limited, it taken all the values here. So if it is correct, click on next. Then it is define accounting representation. Okay, what will be your primary ledger name? Primary ledger is mandatory to be defined. Secondary ledger is optional. You can and you cannot. So my ledger name. In the Excel file, we decided to keep ledger name IT Ledger India. IT Ledger India. Then chart of account structure we just now defined. What is the chart of account structure we have used? Okay, we have not taken the name. IT Corporation Okay, just a second. Why it is not showing? I got the point. Cancel, cancel. This one. We forgot to do one thing under key segments. F11, general lecture. IT Corporation chart of account. We have not reached the flex field definitions. We have just defined. Okay, we have not gone through this details. Okay, allow dynamic insert. It means uh, if you do not select this, it will not allow you to create your own accounting segments. Okay, so that's the reason you must allow this as allow dynamic insert. Next, freeze roll-up groups. If you are using parent-child things, you can define roll-up groups. We will come and discuss this later. Cross-validate segment. Cross-validation of the segments means, suppose there is an account, okay, marketing expenses. That account must only be used with the sales department. I don't want to use that account to be used with any other department. This is called cross-validation of the segments. Freeze flex field definition. If I click freeze flex field definitions, it will compile the data. I click on compile. Okay. Now this is freezed. This is all done the setup. And now I can go and very well define my accounting setup. Accounting setup. Add my legal entity. IP private. Done. Next, define accounting representation. Primary ledger. IT. Ledger. India. Chart of account. IT Corporation. Chart of account. Now you see it is coming over because I forgot to do the compilation of the chart of account structure. Then calendar. What was the calendar name? IT IT Corporation monthly calendar. What will be my currency? INR. Okay, so there is many things in INR. So INR. Okay, now you see chart of account C, accounting calendar C, currency C, subledger accounting method. This is called your accounting convention. Here we are going to use the standard one. Okay, we have all this. So some of the defined by the user, some is defined by the Oracle. This one, standard approval. This is the very standard one, we can use it. Then we have the add reporting currency. If we add reporting currency, the representation of our values in the different currency, we can very well use this reporting currency. Let's say we want to use reporting currency. Okay. So which currency you want to define? Let's say US dollar. Okay. See, people are defining their own values, but it is not really required. You can very well use the standard which is available. currency conversion level. Here we have three levels: journal level, subledger level, balance level. So balance level means whatever balance will be available in general ledger module for each account, that will be converted into US dollars. This is one thing. Second, journal level. Whatever journal getting posted in the general ledger module, that will be converted into your reporting currency, and that will be presenting you the trial balance in the reporting currency. Subledger level means whatever the transactions you want to track from the subledger, you can very well do that. So few companies use subledger because that will give you the details of the transactions happened in AP and AR module, and that will allow you to drill down further more details. But balance level and journal level, few companies are using. So I am right now using the subledger level, but that very well can be. Okay, and click on apply. And this is done. We have defined the primary ledger. The secondary ledger definition, we will continue further and click on next. Okay. See, now it is going to show you the verification part. This is the legal entity and this is the ledger. Okay, see, you have a separate ledger getting created in the reporting currency. And once you confirm this, click on finish.
So Gopal, so we are selecting the subledger, right? So only subledger related sources, journals.
No. The reason I selected subledger is I want to track transactions by subledger also. Okay, if I select it means against account, what is the balance that will get converted into USD only. That will not give me any detail of what from where this transaction is coming. If I use journal level, those journals are getting posted from subledgers to the GL module. It will convert the all journals in the GL module to US dollars. But it will not be able to do the drill down facility. Means I cannot go from GL to subledger. Okay, it will not allow me to do that. That's the reason I selected the subledger. If I select the subledger, what will happen? If I want to know which transaction it is related to from the subledger, I can very well go from the general ledger to subledger. And
okay, so basically, if you are selecting, it will become a replica of the complete primary ledgers with all the GL and the subledger.
Yes, exactly. Complete replica of the your primary ledger.
Okay.
Okay. And once I am satisfied, I need to click on define accounting options. So this is all done. And if you see here, I need to do some more setups over here. IT Private Limited, update the balancing segment value. What will be the balancing segment value? It is our related to company. Add balance IT company value set. It is coming over here. I need to now add balancing segment value. Default IT Private Limited. This is my value. And yes, this is click on apply. So under the ledger, you have legal entity. You can have multiple legal entities and assigning multiple balancing segments to the one legal entity. That is very well possible. Now we need to complete few more setups like ledger options. Reporting currency, we already did it, but we need to press a complete button on this. Balancing segment value assignment. If you assign the balancing segment over here, no need to do this anymore. You just need to press the complete button over here. Subledger accounting options, it is already completed. You can see the check mark is there. Assigning operating units and sequencing and intercompany accounts. Intercompany we will do when we are doing the intercompany activities. Sequencing we will do when we are doing the sequence, means when we do the sequencing for the transactions in our ledger. So our first task is to go to the ledger options. Click on update. Okay, there are many fields are incomplete, so we need to complete that field. Ledger name is there, IT Ledger India. Short name, okay, you can very well change IT Ledger INR or something. Currency, chart of account is there. Accounting calendar, period time monthly. First ever period opened is Jan 21. Okay. Number of future enterable period is 1. Okay. Future enterable period, we will discuss this when we do the accounting activities. And when we go to the open period and close period activities. Subledger accounting method. You have subledger a standard accrual by Oracle. If you are using cash basis accounting, balance subledger active by ledger currency not required. We will go through each options over here again and click on finish. It is not showing the next button. Okay, there is some problem with this page. Actually, it need to show next button over here somewhere. Okay, we cannot continue over this because we do not see the next button over here. I have to send an email to this company who is managing this server. It is not the company who is giving you the training. It is another vendor who is managing this server. So I need to send the screenshot to get this next button getting enabled over here. So we will continue the session tomorrow. Okay, we have still not complete with the ledger definition. We still need to go, and once I define this ledger option only, then I can go ahead with the other options. Is that fine for you both? Will we continue tomorrow?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Sure.
And yesterday's video and today's video I will be sharing today in the few minutes. That will be available to both of you for watching the session. Okay.
Yeah, Gopal, and also regarding that screenshots. Yesterday
Yes.
mentioned.
The PPT screenshots I will send.
Okay.
So I will check this error and come back. So we'll see tomorrow each other again, the same timing. This same timing is fine now, 7 to 9, weekdays 7 to 8.
For me, okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So thank you for joining this session, and we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.